Hey everybody, just a quick reminder, it is November, it is our fall fundraiser for Toys for Tots. For more information on that, click the link above my head, or wait until after the video for more information. Hello everybody, Mac here, welcome back to the show. We have a lot of very interesting things to look at coming down the line for the show, so go ahead and leave us a like, because today we are taking a look at Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Workshop Operation Monster Force. This is the first real official figure that I have for this line. If you remember, I did get my hands on the Joe Fest exclusives and we took a look at them. Blood Prince Dracula and Omen of Darkness Forgotten King, card and link to those right here. But this is the first figure that I have in my possession of the line in general. And what we have is the Sleepwalker Crimson Moon Division. I picked this up because I just really liked the look of the character, the look of the figure, the uniform, the weapons, the helmet, the mask, like the whole feel of it just really spoke to me. I really like this like Art Deco, Wolfenstein, Hellboy design style that this character, this figure, this uniform, everything has. So I wanted to get this as my first real look at the line. And you can see the packaging does not disappoint. I love this like dulled out image that we have up front, the figure with this sort of like Transylvania mad scientist Frankenstein's laboratory thing going on in the background, the Operation Monster Force logo. You saw the name of the figure on the side, and it is figure number 7. The Roman numerals are really cool. I also like how it sort of has this like this bookend look to it, so that if you are an inbox collector, and we have a window packaging that we'll take a look at in a moment, but if you are an inbox collector, you can line them up on the shelf like this in numerical order, and everything you need to know about the character is right here. The figure is right here. I really dig that. I think this is a really nice touch. On the back, we have the image of the figure. We have the cross cell, which I dig that they do something like this. They have the cross cell of what else came in this wave. The Forgotten King has returned. We have a bit of a write-up right there. So go ahead, pause and read that right now if you want to. On the other side, we have the same thing as on the opposite side, Sleepwalker, the number, but over here we have the Fresh Monkey Fiction logo instead of the Big Bad Workshop logo. Up top, Monster Force, Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. The entire line is basically a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. And then on the bottom, the warning, the barcode, and nothing about the sculptor or the paint apps. Let me see, art direction. Well, we have art direction, package design, but nothing about who actually sculpted it. The creator, the designer, the packaging designer, the logo designer. So hats off to all of them. Now, like I said, this is a window box. We can pop this open. We have a bit of a comic book write-up in here that explains who and what the Sleepwalkers are. And then we have a really nice open clear window shot of the Sleepwalker figure himself with all of his accessories, his additional head, bit of extra space up here. But I like that it's a large clear window and you can basically see everything that the figure comes with. So once again, if you are an inbox collector, everything you would want to admire is right here, including the weapons, which I think there is a lot to admire about the weapons. We'll take a closer look at those once we get them out. But I also dig this little comic write-up over here that, first of all, it brings up the name. Where's the name? I forget what it is. Dr. Caligari. Dr. Caligari. Now, he's not one of the Universal monsters, but there was a old black and white horror movie based on him. And I dig that they pulled him, like, that's a pull. I love that everything in here is basically based off of old horror movies, old horror stories. The idea of the Sleepwalker agents being that Caligari's, what is this Zeiss agent, it's a gas that they basically breathe and inhale, and they're kind of like in this constant like fugue state, like this dreamlike state where I guess they're fearless, they're easy to control, basically disposable soldiers that are drugged up. That's a heck of a premise, but this little page right here, I'm willing to bet this is actually out of the comic, because there is a comic you can get for this that basically explains the story between the Forgotten King and Dracula and Declan Van Helsing and Dr. Caligari here. I don't think they've made a figure for the Good Doctor yet. I'm wondering if there's some sort of rights issue that they're trying to get, like the likeness rights or something for him. I don't know. But that is enough about that. That is enough about the packaging. Remember, this is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. You can only get it at Big Bad Toy Store. I'll leave a link to this in the description below. But if you're watching this, I'm willing to bet you already knew that. So without further ado, let's get this open and let's take a look at the Big Bad Workshop Fresh Monkey Fiction Operation Monster Force Sleepwalker Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. Okay, here he is, our Crimson Moon Sleepwalker, out of the box, and putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he is roughly 6¼ inches tall to the top of his helmet, but 6½ inches tall to the top of the fin. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera very well, but my lord, the paint apps on this guy are incredible. I love the black wash on like his coat right here that really brings out the wrinkles, brings out the details. You have the same thing down here on his trousers. The shiny black to simulate like the leather boots right here, along with the shiny black of the gloves and the belt, not to mention the shoulder pauldrons right here, that there's a little bit of a texture right there to break everything up and really gives it like that bit of like premium feel to it. The same texturing that's used on the belt down here, and the pinstriping on it is almost flawless. You can see it gets a little thin right here, and there's a little bit of slop right here. But on mine, at least, that's really the only flaws I can find on like that pinstriping for the paint apps. Even on the gauntlets right here, they did a really good job. And I just noticed there's a bit of dual texturing on the gauntlets too, that you have this more textured feel and then you have this smoother feel right here. I think that is fantastic. And then look at the face sculpt. And we have more than just this one to look at, but look at this. With this quasi skull going on right here on the gas mask and the two rebreathers coming out right there. This whole thing looks beautiful. It is fantastic. Even on the back, they continued this wash and bringing out the detail, bringing out the wrinkles, just giving it like that little extra thing that like just makes it feel like such a premium figure. And I'm really, really, really digging this. And then we have, even underneath, we have I'm assuming those are the symbols of the Forgotten King. His symbol, his icon, his banner, whatever you want to call it. I'm really happy to see that the paint apps on the mask piece are just spot on, because this is what you're going to look at the most, especially if this is the head sculpt that you're using on him, and it just looks great. It's virtually flawless right there, and I love those red eyes that look like they might be made of, let's turn the light on here. They might be made of translucent red plastic. I can't really tell, to be completely honest. They have that shine to them, but it looks like maybe red lenses. Yeah, lenses over red painted eye sockets. Really giving it a unique look. Really love that. Let's take a look at the articulation of our guy right here. That the head will do a full 360 spin. He can look up really well. He can look down really well. He has some tilt side to side. Popping the head off, there is some play with the neck joint right here. The neck joint will move, and you do have some front and back. Now, I know on other Operation Monster Force figures that this neck joint will be able to be removable, and truthfully, it feels like if I played around with this long enough, I could pop this out too. but there's no additional neck joint for that. And I have a feeling that underneath all of this soft rubber clothing, there is pretty much a uniform buck that they're using across all of their standard figures. But you can also see right here that we have a hinge and swivel with a ball joint up top, which I love, and I've said numerous times, I really wish G.I. Joe would go to that. Arms will do a full 360. There is a butterfly joint hidden underneath his jacket overlay right here, but you don't, I feel like there's more range to it, but you don't get the full range because the jacket is hindering it. But that will give us something to look forward to on other figures. The arms will come up well past 90, really dig that. You have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows with some really good travel here. Wrists pivot. These wrists hinge, which way do these go? These go in and out. Whoops, pop that off. But these go in and out. Let me grab that one. I'll be right back. Okay, got a little too enthusiastic with that one. There is a waist twist right here, and you can see that the coat is actually split into two pieces. That there's the top piece, and then there's this skirting for the lower half of the torso. I like that. It helps with the articulation, but also kind of makes it a pain trying to line it back up because this can move independently of that. But yeah, you can get a full 360 spin out of him. There is some crunch, but I feel like this is hindering it. Now, when you pull this up a little bit, I don't see like an ab crunch right in there. I think it's a upper torso situation right here that like there's a cut just underneath where the pecs would be, and I feel like that is where you're getting your front and back, because you also get some side to side up there. But once again, I feel like this jacket is hindering the torso articulation just a bit. We can pull this up. You can see they continued paint apps underneath with the crotch piece and a belt right here, so that even if you wanted to take this off, although why would you, because that would like make this look kind of wonky. But if you wanted to pull the whole thing off, I do wonder what's underneath there, but I'm not going to try and pull the arms off my new figure just yet. But we do have paint apps on the belt, and we have that black wash continuing. We have drop down hips that will come forward to about 90. They will go, oh, let's get the back piece out. You can see it's a very soft rubber. It gets out of the way. They'll go back about that far. You can also get the legs up to just under 90. And if you look underneath, you can see, let's get the light on again. You can see the actual color of the red plastic that was used is a very much brighter than what the end result was. We have thigh cut that, listen to that. The joints on this were very tight. Not, oh my gosh, this is going to break tight, but they were fairly tight that it took some breaking in to get them to move. He has double jointed knees, which don't come all the way up, but you still get some decent movement out of it. You have a boot cut, which, listen, you can hear that rubbing. That was a very tight fit as well. The ankles rock back way far. The ankles rock forward fairly well. And we have a forward-facing pin for some rocker, no toe articulation. So out of the box, our Crimson Moon Sleepwalker has a pair of gripping hands. He has a pair of clenched fists. Of course, he has a pair of trigger hands to go with his weapons, and the trigger hands do hinge up and down. So I appreciate that touch. He also has this pair of open hands right here that you can use for grappling, but I also feel like, and we'll see once we take a look at the weapon in a moment, that you can use it for like cradling the barrel of his rifle, like those hand sets we get with Valaverse figures. So we've been seeing him with sort of this skull mask helmeted face going on right here. This is the one that he comes with out of the box, but he officially comes with one more head sculpt and unofficially two? So this is the second head sculpt that he comes with, and truthfully, there's something a little bit more vacant and terrifying about this one than there is about the skull helmet. Like, just this blank, faceless expression with two eyes that are just like constantly staring at you. There's something just sinister and horrifying and wicked about this one. Now with this one, he has all of the same range of movement. He can look up really well. He can actually look down a little bit better because this mask sits up higher that the chin doesn't hit as the chest as soon. He still has the tilt side to side, and going along with like the silvering of the buttons right here, you also have all these silver riveted studs on the back of the helmet that just gives it like this industrial, like almost steampunk look going on right there. And once again, you have the red with the red paint with the chipping, the weathering, almost a patina going on. I really like this one. I'm not sure between these two which one I like better, this or the skull one. I'm kind of leaning towards this one, I think. But then I also got this one, and I don't remember this one being advertised with the figure. I know we get this head sculpt with other figures. I don't know if we get it in this paint app, but I know we get this style with some other figures. I think this one was all done up in black. Now, what I find interesting about this is I'm wondering if they didn't add this after the fact, because with this uniform, this head sculpt, this is very much, I forget what the figure was. Was it like Crimson Laser or something? One of the Crimson Shadow soldiers, troopers, figures, whatever, from the old Action Force series. That is, I mean, this has to be a nod to that, but this wasn't in the packaging. This was just in a Ziploc baggie that was thrown into the box along with the accessories. So, like I said, I don't remember this one being advertised with the figure. I remember only 2 head sculpts being advertised with the figure. So, I'm curious why they threw this one in. I'm not complaining. I dig it. I like it. It looks really good. I like that we get like a red helmet to go, like a full red helmet to go along with the rest of this uniform. But also check out, once again, the weathering, the scratching, the detail work coming through. Right here, we have some ports that you'll be able to plug his backpack directly into the helmet, like he's just huffing vapor right out of the backpack. That looks cool. So I don't know if I like this one the best now. Um, I think this looks really good. This like gives so much potential for like army building, that you get one of these figures and you can get 3 different looks out of it. So then like if you bought more than 3, you could have like a couple of, like you could have this head sculpt being like the leader, the officer. This one would be like just like a standard frontline grunt, and then you have this one as like your specialist or something, or vice versa. Like the possibilities, I mean, the possibilities are nigh infinite. But I really dig that we have options, because options, in the immortal words O Robo, are good. Now, the first piece we're going to take a look at is his pistol right here, and I believe that Gridiron Studios was doing the weapons for this line. I don't know if they did them for the first wave of figures. I know I heard about them doing it when the second wave was announced, so I don't know if these are actually Gridiron weapons or not. But this thing looks cool. I love this like retro tech art deco, like I called it, like Castle Wolfenstein look to the weapons that we have here. I I really like the coiling system right here. This energy mag right there. Don't know what that is, if it's supposed to be a scope, if it's just supposed to be like some sort of capacitor or an oscillator up top, maybe some sort of electrical scope, I don't know. We have both barrels right here that are bored out and they can take blast effects, and it does come, the figure does come with blast effects. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But then on the back right here, we have this little stud that we can port accessories off of the back of this so that we can hook it up via cable to his backpack. And we will be taking a look at all of that very soon. But I really dig the paint job on this. Look at the weathering. Look at the aging. This looks fantastic. This looks so cool. Like, this looks like something that was, this is how they pictured ray guns in the World War II era, and they put them in World War II. like I keep talking about Castle Wolfenstein or like Sergeant Rock or something like that. Like this looks really cool. Now, he does have his trigger hands that these are actually a very soft rubber. I didn't realize that when I was doing the hand comparisons in the previous section, but the hands are very soft so that it's not really a fight to get the weapon into his hands. And I like that. I appreciate that because there are some figures like Super 7 and NECA do this a lot, that like the fingers are just molded so tight that you have to be very delicate getting like the sword or the gun or just whatever their accessory is into their hand. With this, with them being more flexible, you can even see on the fingers right here, with them being more flexible, it's a much easier fit to get the weapons in their hands without worrying about, am I about to break something? Because speaking of, am I about to break something, here is his rifle, and if you liked his pistol, you are going to love his rifle. Look at that silvering, that wear and tear on it, almost like a patina on the weapon right there. That looks fantastic. I love this sort of like electronic magazine right here. Like you could imagine that when this thing powers up, these light up in sequence as they go up the mag. And this is a powered up weapon because there is a port right here where you can plug something into it and then plug it into his backpack, which we'll be taking a look at in a moment. Now, the only issue I have with this is the folding stock right here is very delicate and very ginger. And I always feel like, I say always, I just got it, but every time I've put it in his hand so far, I always feel like this is going to be the first thing that breaks whenever you're trying to slip it into his hand. But this looks fantastic. Like even look at the woodworking on the front handle right here. So many different textures, different colors, metal, wood, electronics, just primitive pieces hanging off of it. You have the open barrel, you have the iron sights. Like this looks so cool. And once again, it's bored out to accept the blast effects, which we'll be taking a look at in a moment. But this looks awesome. Now, once again, the hands are very soft, which is good, so that you don't have to fight, because you see how when I'm trying to get it in, this keeps hitting against his hand. Maybe it's better if we do this. Pop the hand off first. Get the weapon into his hand. The trigger fingers on this and the pistol sometimes get caught up on that front hook right there. But we get it into his hand first, and then pop the hand, there we go, back on the figure. So just look how cool that looks. What I love about this is because of the magazine, you can choose to hook this up to the power pack, his backpack, once we take a look at it. Or, like on the front of the box, it could just be a magazine-fed weapon. And let's check something out here, that I have those open hands, and yeah, you could use them as cradling hands for cradling a rifle or something. This isn't really the weapon you would want to do that because it has the forward grip right there, and it looks a little awkward, him cradling it here so close to the magazine. But if he went any further, like that's really the spot you would want to do it. But if you put another weapon in his hand, or if you get another figure that has different weapons, he'd be able to do it. Those hands would be able to do it. That's really cool. Oh, he looks so cool with this thing. Like this, for his like future sci-fi, primitive future sci-fi as this looks, it fits the figure. It fits the character. It looks great. The amount of accessories this guy comes with is almost overwhelming. The first one we're going to take a look at is the fastest one to take a look at, and that is his armband right here. Once again, it has his symbol on there. It has the very nice texturing going around the band itself, along with some really nice silver pinstripe work. Once again, silver buttons around it, which is very cool. And this just slides up on his bicep like so, just like the Cobra officers that we get with the Classified series, that it's kind of like his badge of rank, that once again, if you were army building, this could be like the specialist setup or the officer setup, just something else to differentiate certain figures from other figures in the line. Now, where do I even begin with this? This is the backpack that he comes with, which, first of all, once again, incredible attention to detail. Love the paint apps, love the weathering, but we also have like different ports on the backpack. Okay, nothing on the bottom, but different ports on the backpack to hook any of these numerous accessories up to really give it a custom feel, that like each one can be different because we have all of these parts right here. Like this is something that a hose, this is something that one of the hoses would link into, and this has a stud on here as well as a receiving socket, so that you can like set these up however you want. You could have this piece coming off of the side of the rifle, for example, and then have the hose going up into it and then coming up onto the backpack, and that's how the rifle is powered. Or, like I said, you could just pop this out and just have it be, have it be a magazine-fed weapon. There's so many different things that you can do with this. And this, like I said, you have this little stud right here, which is a receiving socket, so that you can plug this into the back and then port the hose into the back of the pistol as well. Unfortunately, there's no side ports on it, but I think the pistol is just too small to be able to get more docking collars, more docking points on it than this one on back. And then that pops off. We have 3 different size hoses, long, medium, and short, and we get 2 of each since we have 2 weapons of each. And these are very flexible, very soft. Love the weathering on it. You can see like the silvering in between like the ridges of the hose, which is phenomenal. The attention to detail they did with the paint apps on these is fantastic. I love the look of this guy. And you also have different areas where you can where you can like just attach the hoses to the backpack on the side there. We have the 2 obvious ones that are the valves coming off the side right here. That's really cool. But then, like I said, our bonus head sculpt right here, we have that it can just receive the hoses directly into the back of the helmet. So you could plug the helmet into the backpack like he's huffing the vapors right out of the backpack, that is also powering his weapons up. Or just have it go from backpack, I don't have any of the ports on it, or just have it go from helmet to weapon, and he kills people with his brain. Okay. Like there's so many possibilities with this. And we even get something right here. Like we have this piece, which is a singularly unique piece, but then it has additional ports coming off of it that we could make any number of things just by splicing pieces together. That we have an end cap right here. You see that? We have an end cap right there. And then we can take one of these pieces, and then we can take, let's take a crooked piece, and then we have this piece added onto it, this sort of like dish receiver piece. And then we can take this other double-ended piece, and then and then we can slap this onto his backpack like so. And maybe he has like some sort of communications rig going on, so that he can be like the team communications operator, the team radio operator. How cool is that? Because, that's what you could do. Hold on. I just thought of something. Pop that out. Take this head off. Put this head on. Oh, it's a little sticky. There we go. Put this head on. Put the backpack on. The backpack fits very well. I have to admit, the backpack fits very well, like so. Let's angle this up a little. So we put the backpack on. We have our makeshift like communication satellite dish on. We have this head on, and then we take, will one of the short ones work? No, maybe we'll use one of the medium ones. We'll take this connect this to the bottom, and then we take this one and just jack it right into the back of his helmet. And there you have your communications operator. And then you still have more hoses that you can hook his weapons up to the backpack as well, along with these two ports on the side. This is what I mean. There's just so many possibilities. There's just so many possibilities for this figure, for this mixing and matching of accessories right here, that this actually, if this is just an example, one example of what's possible with the line, I think I'm actually more excited about the troop builders for the Crimson Shadow than I am about the actual monsters. And you know how I love my monsters, but now it also makes me wonder what customizing possibilities do you have with the monsters going on? I think this is really cool. Like, the more I think about this, the more I like this, that like there's our ops guy, there's our communications guy. That's so cool. I just love all of the accessories. Now, something else that we get with this, let me angle this back down here for a minute. That other things that we get with this is, like I said, there are blast effects that come with it. And we have these that are done very well, but they're also a very hard plastic. There's no bend to them. There's slight bend to the tip. There's slight bends to the tips, but it's not very soft. It's not very rubbery, which some people might like that. Me, I'm worried that means it's going to break. Some of these blast effects are very specifically for certain weapons that you can tell this bigger one is supposed to be for the rifle right there. And the reason I spun it is because there is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but there is a groove cut out in the plastic that is supposed to match up with the barrel overhang there. So you kind of turn it until you find it, and there you go. And see, it's a little bent, that it's kind of angling down, which is a bit of a bummer, but I think it looks good. I really like the translucent red that they used for them. We have that one. We have the smaller ones that we can use with the pistol, which I dig. Once again, there is a flat spot to put on there to match up with it there. I don't think you can put this smaller one on the rifle very easily. I don't think it has like a really good nesting point for, maybe right there, but the whole thing kind of goes down. It doesn't have a really good nesting point for like the barrel overhang right there. We also have this mid-range one that you can use coming out of the bottom barrel of the pistol. I don't believe you can put them both on. Oh, you can. They get in each other's way a little bit, but it's not horrible. You can have it like two barreling. So that's really cool. That's the first time I did that. That doesn't look too bad. That's really cool. Now, we also have, I always love when they do this, we have this translucent white piece right here. This translucent clear piece of plastic for like the smoking barrel. Always dig that. This one is longer than a lot of the other ones that I got, but I kind of dig that. I like it. It looks good. The final one that we're going to take a look at is these like static, like Emperor's Lightning effects. And we get them in two separate pieces. That we have this one that is quite obviously meant to be on its own. There you have the peg that just sort of, that you can nestle into the weapon right there. And you have just like a discharge. Now, this one doesn't have a peg, but it has a peg hole that you're supposed to be able to take this one and run it through there. There you go. And then you can put that on the end of one of the weapons as well. And you have like just this big discharge right here, which this is kind of cool. It's very different. So like, I like that because of how different it is. I don't understand why this is in two pieces, because this blast effect, this electric static effect right here, is the only one that this fits with. These bigger ones don't fit with this sort of like discharge one. And you can't get the peg to come out through. You don't have enough peg to go through, because you can see, I think, Yeah, that peg is, now it's about the same size. So is it just that the effect itself is getting in the way because of all of this? That, yeah, you can't really use this effect with anything else other than this one. So I'm not entirely sure why these are in two pieces. It's a cool effect, but I think they could have made this one piece. So we saw this with the translucent Omen of Darkness Forgotten King figure, the Tombstone figure stand, and I love this. I think this is a great touch to this line. That not only do you have a Tombstone here with the Operation Monster Force, and it would be like a great diorama piece, you get a whole bunch of them lined up, you can make a cemetery out of them, but it's also a figure stand where you can see we have the two pegs right there, but also it has the figure's name across the bottom of it. So you can set it down, you bring your figure in, and you put him down on it like so. And then let's lower this down a little. You see, name of the figure right there. I think that is a brilliant touch. And now for size comparison, here he is beside the only other Monster Force figures I have, the Fresh Monkey Fiction Joe Fest exclusive Blood Prince Dracula in Wild Cherry flavor, and Omen of Darkness the Forgotten King in Cool Mint. Here he is beside Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Crimson Guard and Baroness from the Crimson Strike Force 3-pack. Here he is beside Jada Toys Universal Monsters, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Loose Collectors Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Vampirella. Here he is beside Hasbro Marvel Legends Blade and Daredevil Elektra. Here he is beside Valaverse Action Force Bone Collector version 2 and Pandora. Here he is beside Lanyard Toys City Hunter Predator and Xenomorph Drone. Here he is beside Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia He-Man and New Eternia Skeletor from the Havoc Throne. Here he is beside McFarlane Toys Warhammer 40k Space Marines Blood Angel and Dark Raven? I'm sorry, I forget what the Black Order is. I think it's Raven. Dark Raven. Something Raven. And finally, here he is beside NECA Toys Dungeons & Dragons Warduke and Grimsword. It is ridiculous how much fun I've been having playing around with this figure. I honestly didn't expect to like this as much as I do. I honestly didn't expect it to be as good of a quality as it is. A lot of times when I'm playing with indie company figures, I'm always very delicate with them. I'm always very concerned about the joints, about the articulation, about snapping something. And it's nothing against indie companies. It's just they can be a little bit more delicate than something that comes from Hasbro and Mattel. I mean, that's just the way it is, especially if it's kind of like the first run of a series or their first shot at something. Now, I know we've had 6-inch figures, 1/12 scale figures from Fresh Monkey Fiction before, but something like this, I was a little concerned about what the quality was going to be like, and that concern has pretty much been pushed to the side. I'm really having fun with this guy. The different head sculpts, the different accessories that he comes with, the different looks, the different equipment loadouts you can do with him. That's one of the funnest things about it for me, is being able to change his loadout, change his head sculpts, make different looking frontline infantry, officers, specialists, things like that. To me, like, that is what a troop builder should be. Like, I personally would have loved if the Cobra officers or the Cobra Troopers or even the Vipers were able to have this much change to them. But then on the other hand, with G.I. Joe Classified, you have the Televiper, the regular Viper, the Heat Viper, the Frag Viper, the Alley Viper. Like, the specialists are built into the series, built into the collection. With this, they're just going to make one Crimson Sleepwalker, and then you can do whatever you want with him. I still don't know if that third head sculpt was always intended to be with this figure, or if it was kind of like a bonus pack-in. Because I don't think it was, because I remember when I bought this, I thought, man, this would make like a great like Action Force homage figure if it came with that third head sculpt. And then when I opened it up, lo and behold, there it was. I think that's something that they just threw in. There are some accessories that I don't get, like the static discharge that you can put out of the barrel. Like, it looks cool. I don't get what it's supposed to be, especially when you have two pieces that go together. I'm not going to complain about it though, because it's a pack-in, it's accessories, it's something that can make it look different, it's something that gives you options, and I dig that. I really dig that. Moving forward, I honestly don't know how deep into the monster side of Operation Monster Force I'm going to go, because quite honestly, at this point, I'm more interested in these Sleepwalkers, in these troop builders right here, and seeing what else we get from the other ones. I think there's two more Sleepwalkers, and then there are some army builders for the good guys, for Van Helsing's side. So that's honestly where my interest is lying more right now. And yeah, I might be getting some more Sleepwalkers just to see how they all fit together. I love this like retro futuristic look they have. This like Del Toro Hellboy, Castle Wolfenstein look that they have going on. This I've always loved. I'm not even sure like what this style is called. It's not steampunk. I don't know if it's considered like Art Deco, but I've always like really loved this look, this style. It's just like future, like what they imagined the future was going to be like in World War II. Like that's the whole thing, and the whole aesthetic is just fantastic. So I don't know if I'm even going to like just focus on Operation Monster Force, because while I was playing around with this, I was thinking I would like pick and choose some from Operation Monster Force, maybe pick and choose some that's coming out from the Order of the Crimson Moon, pick and choose things from what's that other line they have coming out with, Soldiers of Fortune, and sort of just like taking different troops, different army builders, and maybe like just shoehorning them into like my G.I. Joe classified line, the different factions we have going on. I don't know, like I'm really digging this guy, and I'm actually excited now about what Fresh Monkey Fiction may have coming out down the line with their other lines that they have coming. Hello everyone, thank you for making it to the end. November is our annual fall fundraiser for Toys for Tots. Every year we host this drive where through your donations, Uncle Britt and I are able to go toy shopping to purchase toys for needy families to get them through the holiday season. It's a worthy cause and an organization that's very close to my heart. If you're interested in donating, please click the link in the description below or this video right here. And while you're in the clicking mood, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel immensely, and that's free. So remember, play well everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.